Hi, I'm Blythe Branson Hughes, and I'm at NBC Charlotte TV studios with weather anchor Larry Sprinkle. Thank you so much for speaking with us today.
This is great. I'm glad to have you in our weather center here, First Warn Storm Center, where we do all the action takes place right here.
Happy New Year, and it's great to see you again.
Good to see you.
So you have such an interesting past. Like me, you lived outside the U.S. And can you tell us a little bit about your past life and work?
Oh gosh, that could take all day, but I'll condense it a little bit. My father was a civil engineer, so basically from the time I was born until I left home to go to school at 18, we traveled. And we lived somewhere different about every 2 to 3 years, and it took us all over the southeast part of the United States, the southwest, and then we started traveling overseas from East Africa, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East, and I graduated from high school in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, East Africa.
Wow.
Yeah.
So have you ever had a starstruck moment, and with who?
Starstruck moment. Well, I've had, in my career, which actually goes back to radio. I started radio when I was about 14. I was really lucky to get into broadcasting at a young age. And so I had a whole career in radio. And when I was in Memphis in radio, I had the opportunity, and I wanted to explain how the circumstance happened, but I had the opportunity to go to a movie with Elvis Presley. And he used to rent a movie theater about 3 in the morning. That's when he could go out. And I just happened to be with a group of people who were invited to go, and so I had the chance to go to the movie and meet him. And I would say out of all the people that I met, and I've met a lot of different people in the entertainment business, in politicians, and famous, semi-famous, and great people like you. That had to be the one where I was almost speechless.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you were very involved in charity work. Why do you think volunteerism is important, and what charities are you involved with?
When I first started in radio, when I was 14 years old, the manager of the radio station told me, he said, "Larry, if you're gonna have a career," he said, "not only do you need to be on the air, but you need to be out in the community. You need to give time to the community and let people know you care about the community." So that registered with me, and so I just started out that way as a teenager, realizing that it's important to give back. And as a very young kid, at the age of 4, I met a man who was 22 years old. Because of his mental situation, because of his mental challenges, he had the mind of a 4-year-old. And so I befriended him. And so at a young age, I met someone who had that issue. And so I thought at some point in my life, I needed to look back on that and kind of get involved in that community and those with mental challenges. So I started out working with the ARC, and that's the organization that used to be called the Association of Retarded Citizens, but that name's been changed. I started working with them when I was a teenager, and then I started, it's almost like this: "Larry, could you help us with this project? Would you do this?" And I have a hard time saying no, but I can't really, among the charities, Loaves and Fishes, Goodwill Industries, the American Red Cross, the Salvation Army, the Boys and Girls Clubs. I mean, it's almost like I said, it's hard to say no.
Yeah. So what advice do you have for kids today who want to do what you do?
I think that anyone, as was told to me when I was 9 years old, when I met the meteorologist at Channel 12 in Winston-Salem as a kid, he told me, he said, "You're 9 years old, 9, 10 years old." He said, "That's not too young to start learning about what you're interested in." And since he knew I was interested in weather, he said, "Start looking at," and I'm going to tell you about something we used to have back in the old days called encyclopedias. You occasionally still see them. He said, "Every letter in the encyclopedia has something to do with weather." And he said, "Start studying that. Learn that at a young age and follow that path, and one day you can have a job like me." So I believed him, and so that's what I did. So I encourage anyone who has any interest. It could be broadcasting, it could be meteorology, entertainment. Follow your dream, but start learning it now. Learn your craft, and by the time you're your age, you'll take my job.
Exactly. So what is on Larry's bucket list?
Larry's bucket list. Well, to have you here is one today. There's so many things. When I was growing up, I traveled all over the world and it was really in more southern warmer climates, which meant Southeast Asia, Middle East, East Africa, and so what I like to do now is I want to, places like the typical, but for me, it's a dream. Go to England, go to France, go to Germany, maybe go to Russia, where the Olympics are in Sochi. So I'm not going, but I thought about that. So I would like to do some more traveling, and then I'd like to go back where I lived as a kid and go back and revisit Bangkok, Thailand again. See Addis Ababa, Ethiopia again. There's some places in the Middle East I can't travel to, but still I have a fascination with Cairo, Egypt. And so that's what it would be, do some more traveling. That'd be a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So thank you so much for your time. This is Blythe Barrington Hughes at NBC Studios with Larry Sprinkle.
Thank you. Hi, this is Larry Sprinkle. If you want to know the weather every weekend, it's Carolina Kid News. In fact, keep watching Carolina Kid News.